I'm Catherine Bush. I'm a writer living in Toronto in Treaty 13 territory and in Eastern Ontario in Treaty 57 territory. I teach at the University of Guelph. I'm thrilled to have my novel Blaze Island chosen for Hamilton Reads 2021, and I look forward to sharing thoughts and stories about Blaze Island with you. In Blaze Island, a despairing climate scientist and his young daughter flee to a remote island in the North Atlantic. Years later, Miranda's life is overturned by the arrival of strangers, and she learns how far her father will go to protect her. Blaze Island is inspired by Shakespeare's play The Tempest, my concern about the climate crisis, and my love of remote island living. Some years ago, I saw a production of The Tempest starring Patrick Stewart of Star Trek fame as the magician Prospero, set on an Arctic island, and it sparked my imagination. I've long been concerned about ecological loss, the fate of our planet, and all the other beings who share this world with us. I was intrigued by the dilemma of a climate scientist. How do you navigate all that you know about climate change and human inaction in the face of it while trying to parent? The novel opens in the midst of a huge storm as a giant hurricane churns up the east coast of North America, leaving destruction in its wake. But not every storm washes a mysterious young man onto your doorstep, as happens to Miranda. To write the story I wanted to write, I needed to find an island. Magically, through a series of lucky connections, I found my way to Fogo Island off the northeast coast of Newfoundland. I spent years returning to faraway, magical, and windy Fogo Island to research my novel, gathering stories from locals and learning how they experience climate change and the newly unpredictable weather it has brought. In my research, I spoke to climate scientists, including one who, like my character Alan Wells, has spent time out on the Arctic ice and woke one day to find a polar bear clawing at his tent. I gave that story to my character. I attended a conference on climate engineering in Berlin and got climate researchers engaged in how to create a credible plot for my novel. On Fogo Island, I lived in a village called Tilting. I walked rocky paths along the seashore. I learned about harvesting berries, all the edible greens that grow by the sea, how to jig for cod, and what iceberg ice tastes like. It's been fascinating to release Blaze Island in the midst of a pandemic because there's so many resonances between island living and the ways we've all had to live during COVID, often cut off from others, unable to travel, unable to escape our families, forced to learn new kinds of resilience and self-reliance. I hope these resonances will speak to readers wherever you find yourselves. Yes, Blaze Island explores climate grief and fear, but it is also a love story, a story of intergenerational relationships, and of confronting many kinds of change. What does it feel like to have your life transformed from one day to the next, as happens to Miranda? How do you respond when you can no longer recognize the past as a guide to what the future will look like? Many of us will know these feelings from our lives during the pandemic. How much are we prepared to change when change is thrust upon us? Where do we look for hope? Blaze Island is also a love story to the land and all the elements of the natural world: plants, animals, sea, ice, clouds. I wanted to heighten the sense of the elements in which the human story is enmeshed. I wanted to describe what it feels like to encounter melting icebergs. Like all my novels, Blaze Island imbues a powerful story with deep questions about the world we live in. The novel invites us all to feel, think, and be transformed.